Welcome to this deep dive. So you shared a really interesting blog post recently. It's from Be Aware, Empowering Women's Health.
Ah, yes. The one titled The Sleep Struggle is Real. Here's How Women Can Win It.
Exactly that one. And today we want to really unpack it, see what makes this topic so vital for women's well-being.
Right. The plan is to pull out the key insights, the actionable stuff from the article, to genuinely help improve sleep.
What jumped out immediately is how foundational good sleep is. It's often pushed aside, isn't it?
It really is, but the post argues it underpins, well, everything, physical, emotional, mental health,
Yeah.
especially considering women's unique challenges.
You mean like hormones, different life stages, lifestyle demand?
Precisely. All those factors play a huge role.
Okay, so the article kicks off by defining sleep health. It's not just clocking hours, right?
Not at all. It's about the quality of sleep, the consistency, and it stresses how vital this is for women's overall health.
I found the links it drew quite compelling. Between sleep and hormones, daily stresses, big life stages,
Which stages did it mention?
things like menstruation, pregnancy, menopause, it connects them all.
That's a really important point because healthy sleep isn't passive. It's when the body is actively, healing, regenerating.
Running essential maintenance.
Basically, yes, regulating critical functions. And the blog post makes it clear that hemp disrupt those cycles. And it's not just about feeling groggy.
It leads to other problems.
Yeah, it can set off a whole cascade of negative health effects.
Right, so understanding just how important quality sleep is. That's step one.
Absolutely. Recognizing that prioritizing it can genuinely boost energy, mood, even how clearly you think.
Now, the article presented a pretty stark statistic too, didn't it? About women and sleep disorders.
It did. That women are nearly twice as likely as men to deal with things like insomnia, restless leg syndrome, even sleep apnea.
And mentioned these issues often get brushed off.
Exactly. Dismissed as just stress or, oh, it's just hormones acting up.
Which is worrying, because the post then highlights the serious health risks of chronic poor sleep.
Yeah, it's not trivial stuff. We're talking higher risks for heart disease, type 2 diabetes, depression, anxiety.
Weight gain, a weaker immune system. It really paints a picture.
It does. Driving home that sleep isn't some kind of luxury item you can cut back on. It's a biological must-have.
So the takeaway is, better sleep equals better health.
Pretty much. The article frames it really well. Good sleep builds resilience, emotional stability, mental sharpness, better physical health overall. It gives women permission to prioritize rest.
Okay, so how do you know if your sleep health isn't great? The post talks about signs to watch for.
Yes, some common symptoms like difficulty falling asleep, taking more than, say, 30 minutes regularly.
Or waking up a lot during the night. Or just waking up way too early and not being able to get back to sleep.
Exactly. And that feeling of daytime fatigue, low productivity, even if you think you slept enough hours.
It also mentions some less obvious signs.
Things like brain fog, trouble with memory, concentration, making decisions.
Mood swings, too, like feeling irritable or anxious for no clear reason.
That's another one. And maybe surprisingly for some, lower libido. Poor sleep can mess with hormones that affect that.
Interesting. Even headaches or muscle tension that seem to ease up when you finally get a good night's sleep.
Right, those can be subtle clues too.
So the advice is, if these things are persistent, maybe lasting more than a few weeks.
Then it's probably time to look at your sleep habits, your sleep hygiene, or maybe chat with a doctor.
Okay. So knowing the signs is helpful. But what can people actually do? The article gives practical tips, right?
Yes, several expert-recommended lifestyle changes. A big one is keeping a consistent sleep schedule.
Meaning same bedtime and wake-up time.
Pretty much, even on weekends as much as possible. It really helps regulate your body's internal clock, the circadian rhythm.
I like the emphasis on a calming bedtime routine, too. Doesn't have to be complicated.
No, simple things work. Reading a book, some light stretching, a warm bath maybe, just signals to your brain it's time to wind down.
And the dreaded screens. Limit them before bed.
Definitely, at least an hour before. That blue light really does interfere with melatonin production, the sleep hormone.
The article also mentions food and drink.
Yeah, being mindful there. Avoiding caffeine in the afternoon or evening, skipping heavy meals right before bed, and watching the alcohol intake, all can disrupt sleep.
Makes sense. And the bedroom environment itself.
Crucial. Keep it cool, dark, and quiet. And try to reserve the bedroom mainly for sleep and relaxation, not work or arguments.
Good point. Oh, and it mentioned morning sunlight.
Right. Getting some sun exposure in the morning helps reset that circadian rhythm for the day, which actually improves sleep later that night.
Okay, those are great lifestyle tips. But what if those aren't enough? Does the article cover other solutions?
It does. For persistent struggles, it outlines some expert-backed options, like sleep studies, for instance.
Polysomnography, where they monitor you overnight.
Exactly. To check for things like sleep apnea or restless leg syndrome by looking at brain waves, oxygen levels, heart rate, that sort of thing.
And it mentions CBTI, cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia.
Yes, a really effective non-drug therapy. It focuses on changing the thoughts and behaviors that get in the way of good sleep.
What about supplements or medication?
It touches on melatonin, but carefully. Suggests it might help for specific things like jet lag or shift work, maybe perimenopause insomnia, but always under medical guidance.
And hormones.
Discusses hormonal support options for menopause-related sleep issues, like bioidentical hormones, or even natural things like magnesium or ashwagandha again, with professional advice.
And sleep meds.
Acknowledges they might be a short-term fix in some situations, but stresses caution and the need for supervision. The main point is finding a professional who gets women's specific sleep challenges.
The blog post also really connected sleep to emotional and mental health.
A very deep connection. It points out that poor sleep can actually raise the risk of mood disorders like anxiety and depression.
And it works the other way too, right? Existing mental health issues can wreck your sleep.
Absolutely. It can become a tough cycle. The article talks about that feeling when you're sleep deprived, feeling emotionally raw, overwhelmed, maybe disconnected.
So framing sleep hygiene as self-care is important.
Very much so. It's like signaling safety to your system, allowing yourself to recover. They even suggest therapy or sleep support groups for the emotional side of things. It helps to know you're not alone.
Then the article wraps up by focusing on taking action. I like that it wasn't about demanding perfection.
Yeah, it's about progress, not suddenly achieving flawless sleep every single night. Start small.
Like what kind of small steps?
Maybe just shifting bedtime 15 minutes earlier, or making a real effort to put the phone away an hour before bed, or even just saying no to one extra thing to protect that rest time.
So it's an act of self-compassion, really.
Exactly. Prioritizing restorative sleep has positive ripple effects across your entire life and well-being.
Okay, so bringing this deep dive into the Be Aware blog post together, the core message seems pretty clear. That prioritizing sleep is fundamental self-care for women. It massively impacts health, well-being, everything. And there are real steps you can take.
Definitely. From lifestyle tweaks to getting professional help if needed, there are options.
So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is this.
Go on.
Considering all the demands on your time, your energy, what's just one small thing, one specific step you could commit to today to make sleep more of a priority?
And maybe reflect on what positive changes that one small step might spark elsewhere in your life.
Exactly. Thank you for listening to our deep dive conversation, powered by Be Aware, empowering women's health. We'll be back with another episode next week. Till then, stay well and stay informed. Don't forget to like our video and hit that subscribe button to stay updated with our videos. Bye for now.